everyone, welcome to a new video. So today we're gonna see what I read during March. So, as I said, we are gonna go through my March reading list, and we're also gonna go through my TBR for April, so it's gonna be fun. I read a lot of books during March, at least more than I usually do. I read 12 books, ranging from physical books to audiobooks. But I'm here to show you what I read and give my little token of thought about it. First things first, I started this book on the last day of February and I kept reading it on March. So I'm counting it as a March book, which is Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford. This book was touching in a way that I didn't expect. I'm not reading a lot of YA recently, and this was a nice introduction to YA again. I don't know, it hit close to home. I tabbed it a little bit. Let me see if I can find a quote that I like no matter how bad things get, there are always people who love you. That was pretty sweet. But yeah, I really enjoyed this read. It was not a long one, which was fun. And I gave it I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, that was the first read from March. Then I read The Inheritance Games from the Inheritance Games series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I only read this book. I am not reading the rest of the series. I am not called to the rest of the series. However, I enjoyed this read. It kept me on my toes at times, and I was honestly surprised because when it's related like this book, I tend to figure out the things, which I did figure out some things before the main character, but I don't know, it just added a little bit to the whole thing, being able to be like, oh, I know this and she doesn't know this yet, and I want her to know this, you know. But I really enjoyed it. This was actually a gift from one of my closest friends. She even tabbed it a little bit, the blue tabs are her, and then you can barely see it, but the green tabs are mine. An e-reader loaded with romance novels in case you need some escapism, and I highlighted that because honestly, same. I get you, girl. It was an enjoyable read. I gave it 4 stars. I'm a very friendly rater, and I just enjoyed the book. I read it in a single day, which was my goal for this book, and it was a fun read. I am not reading the rest of the series, as I said before. It just doesn't call me. I don't feel any need to do so. So, Inheritance Games, standalone, kind of. Then I read Fever Dream by Samantha Schwebelin. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. This book was a fever dream. It wasn't my favorite book ever, but it kept me on my toes. I usually don't read this type of books, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, fast read, and I gave it 3 stars. And my more thorough reviews are on my Bookstagram, so if you guys want to check it out, is down below. Then I read No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. This took me on a stroll. This was very different from what I usually read. I rated it at 4 stars. The ending shattered me a little bit. It wasn't an ending to shatter you, but it shattered me for a reason, and it reminds me a lot of Ernest Hemingway, because you know, the story is about the actual author, but some things are not true and we don't really know what's true and what's not, which is something that Ernest Hemingway used to do a lot. He would like tell all of this stories saying that it was him and whatever, and some of them were not true. So I really like this type of writing. I really like the translation is really well done, and I am told that the graphic novel of this book is amazing and amazingly terrifying, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Then I read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I read it as an audiobook. I really liked it as an audiobook. I don't know if I would have liked it as much. I don't know if I could have read it whole if it wasn't an audiobook. Honestly, it's not like the type of writing that I read. I tend to read a lot of this like romance type genre in audiobooks. I don't know why, but I tend to do it and I really like it, and I just have my own system. But I really enjoyed this read. It was a quick read for me as well. I listened to audiobooks pretty quickly, and what I wrote in my Goodreads was I really liked it. I'm usually not into slow burns, but the way this book was structured made it worth it. Maybe I'll change my rating in the future, but for now it's a very adorable read. So I think I give it a 4.5, but I think I'm gonna change it to a 4 just because I just enjoyed it. It was an adorable read, in fact, but that was it. It didn't like really impact me. Something that I've been meaning to read for a while and I finally read it, A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I tabbed it, of course, not a lot. I don't know why, but I tabbed it. I'm not treating this one as a standalone. This one is I'm rating the series. Hopefully I finish it, and I rated it a 4 stars. It was fun. This was my introduction to fantasy. I've been told that this is a good introduction to fantasy, and I liked it as an introduction to fantasy. I really enjoyed it. At first, yes, it was a little hard to get into. Different genre, different writing style, you know, the whole like fae thing. I just used to like stray away a lot from that because I was not into that whole, like, I didn't understand the hype of like fairies and dragons and like all the fantasy stuff, but now I get it. I really liked it. It was a really nice escape from reality, and this was actually the first book I've ever cracked. Despite, like, right now it's not as bad, but like, oh, look at that. Yeah, it was unintentional, and when I noticed it happened, I just gave in and I just, but it happened accidentally, okay? It happened accidentally, and I just, it was there. It happened. It wasn't my fault, so I just kept it going. Because I wouldn't want to die alone. Because I want someone to hold my hand until the end, and a while after that. That's something everyone deserves. Human or fairy. So I liked Sarah J. Maas' writing, and definitely started liking it more after the first half. It was enjoyable and easy to get through. However, the ending was not what I expected. Yeah, it was not. I expected a cliffhanger or something different. That is something that I did not expect. My first 5-star read of the year, and one of my absolute favorite books ever. It made it to my favorite books. The Uncommon Reader by Alan Bennett. Oh my god, guys, this book is super short. First of all, super short, super nice, but I just loved it so much. It's about the Queen of England getting into reading, and it was such a fun read. It's such a quick one, but it was such a fun read, and I really liked it. And I'm not one to reread books. I've only reread like 3 books my entire life, and they've been my absolute favorite books ever, and this one is one to reread. It holds a place in my heart. It really does. I just love it so much. and I also tabbed it a little bit. A book is a device to ignite the imagination. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it, and what I said in Goodreads is I absolutely love this book. The Queen is described as a witty character, and I love it, and the fact that the book is about her reading humanizes the image of the royal household. It was a quick and easy read, very enjoyable. Honestly, I 100% recommend it, and I will definitely be reading it again soon. So that's all that had to be said. Then I read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. It reminded me a lot of Love and Other Words. Some people like debate which was better, Every Summer After, Love and Other Words. I feel like, yes, they're very similar, but they do have their differences. They do have their different, like, you know, backgrounds and storylines. Every Summer After, I gave it a 3.5 stars. Again, I said in my Goodreads, the storyline reminded me a lot of Love and Other Words, but the ending I did not expect at all. It really took me back a bit. It was an okay summer read. It was nice reading it. It didn't really make an impact on me. It was okay. It was okay. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Okay, this book, an audiobook, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I said so insightful, beautiful, and heartbreaking. I loved reading this book. Oh my god, guys, I loved her story. I'm so happy that she like decided to share the story with us. It's just, if you're gonna read a memoir or a story about someone, this is one of the best ones I've read so far. I definitely recommend it. I want to reread it again because it was just so good. It was just so good. And if you have the chance of reading it in an audiobook, I would 100% recommend it because she does the audiobook voicing. Jeanette does the audiobook voicing, and it just adds to the experience, you know? And I am hoping to buy a physical copy just so I can have it on my read shelf that I read, because I really liked this book. I really did. I didn't give it a 5 stars, but I recommend it. I 100% recommend it. Then I read Killjoy by Holly Jackson. It's the 0.5 novel on the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's a novella, not a novel. Novella. I didn't tab it because it was a quick read. I read it on a road trip that was like an hour, maybe less. I really liked it. It's a nice little like introduction. I wish I had read this before Good Girls Guide to Murder, but I didn't, and I still thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun. It was honestly really fun. I really liked it. It had like the mystery aspect of it all. So, Ain't Burned All the Bright by Jason Reynolds and artwork by Jason Griffin. This is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It has images in it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's heavy. It's the heaviest book I've ever owned. But it's just the whole experience is just it's just great, you know. It's just great. I loved it. If you have the chance to read it, I recommend it, and it's just a great read. I gave it a 4 stars. By Harry G. Frankfurt. This was an interesting read. It's not my usual like writing style. I picked it up because I want to broaden my horizons a little bit more, you know. I want to like explore different genres, and that's exactly what I did. This was very philosophical on the word yes. I'm not gonna say titles so I don't get monetized, but it was fun. It was really quick read, and it just really tackles the word, you know. So those were my 12 books that I read during March. I don't usually read that many books during a month, but you know, I did, and I'm honestly so happy that I did. So glad. And with that, I had started books in March, but I haven't finished them. A Court of Mist and Fury. I've been tabbing it a lot more than A Court of Thorn and Roses. I'm sorry, I know it's broken. I just gave in to temptation. I'm currently in page 346, chapter 36. I'm really enjoying it. It is taking me a little bit more time to read it than I expected, but it's okay, that happens. But the books that I definitely want to read this month are The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, a classic, I know. But I really want to read it, and Asylum by Madeline Rose. You saw it on the vlog. And then on Kindle, I just bought Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I really want to read this book. I really want to. I want to watch the series as well. They say the series is so good, and they say the book is really good, so I'm really looking forward to that. So basically I have one book on my digital Kindle TBR, and then I have 2 books on my physical April TBR. And as of audiobooks, I don't really have any audiobooks on my TBR, just because when I choose an audiobook, it's like on a random Wednesday afternoon when I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna get an audiobook. That's the video, you guys. That's my March wrap up and my April TBR. I know my TBR is pretty small right now, but I'm a mood reader, so I just grab the book that I feel like reading and I just start reading it. I usually don't have like a planned list of what I'm gonna read and what I'm not gonna read. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this March wrap up. I definitely had fun looking back and just thinking about all the books that I read. Thankfully, all of the books that I read were enjoyable reads. I haven't come across into a DNF book just yet, and I don't think I will, hopefully, because I'm in the right reading mindset right now, and I'm keeping myself in that right reading mindset. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for being here with me and watching my March wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, and comment down below, and follow me on my Goodreads and follow me on my Bookstagram so you can be a little updated on what I'm currently reading and my reviews a little bit thoroughly. But yeah, have an amazing day. Bye.